Welcome to the bold analysis. The word unanimous Sudan has been trending for better part of Thursday. This is because since I think Wednesday night, eCitizen, who amongst other government websites have been experiencing technical hitches. And just by Thursday evening, Kenya Railways reported that they've had issues with their ticketing system. The Kenya Power and Lighting Company have had problems for better part of Monday on purchase, better part on Thursday, on the purchase of the tokens, and also Kenya Power and e-visa services. Now, one thing, I think NTSA was also affected. One thing that you will also realize in the whole of this is that it's targeting government websites and government companies. The National Computer Cyber Crime Coordination Committee has said that there has been increased global internet traffic targeted at several critical information infrastructures, especially in the country. Now, this I want to get to William Ruto. One information or one observation that you can clearly make from this is that we just came from mass action the other day, and we unleashed the police to quell the protesters and to neutralize protesters. The politicians would then get on top of their vehicles and character assassinate Azimio la Umoja MPs, Raila Odinga, and the protesters. But then, barely a week as the country is talking about some critical issues like the need for peace, the government has realized that we have many enemies, or rather, we have many problems, and even what we've been talking about is not a main problem. This one is pointing out clearly that there is something going on and that Ruto's enemy probably goes beyond the borders. Now, this is a scare that has the potential of shutting our economy for significant time. Remember, we're also dealing with the situation where government civil servants have been notified, Aisha Juma notified them, of salary delays, and that salary delay was explained that it's because the government is trying to upgrade to a new payroll system that was introduced, or rather as was directed by the IMF as International Payroll System. So there is migration from the one we've been using and the new one that was introduced to us by the IMF. So, you know, I've been trying to connect the dots. Is the payroll issue the reason why there is salary delays? Or could it be the hacking is something that had been happening even before, and to some extent even our national, our government accounts have also been hacked? Someone asked that question. Is it true about the payroll issue, or is it a coincidence that as the government is talking about salary delays due to a payroll system change, just a day after there is also a full-blown crisis of government websites hacked? The anonymous Sudan-based hackers largely are blamed behind the hacking. But there is that which I want us to look at. That is it true that Sudan is there in Kenya? And what exactly is the point of contention? Because actually the one they're taking about is Khartoum. What the said anonymous Sudan was also meant to believe that, we were actually meant to believe that, it's, they are complaining about Kenya meddling with their issues, which I don't think, according to me, is far-fetched. But There is another school of thought I'm going to share with you to the end of this podcast. So make sure you watch to the end. But here, I want us to make a turn and make a critical interpretation of the whole hacking scandal going on. Ladies and gentlemen, kindly subscribe to our channel. Click the notification there. And we are doing 100 challenge. We did it the first 1 week and it was very successful. 100 challenge for 100 challenge subscribers. 100 subscribers challenge. So if within a day you're targeting 100 subscribers, the best you can do is just to confirm your subscription and click the notification bell, and I'll be grateful for that. Now, do you want to move your office furnitures and your laptops and your machines from one office to the other? Or even you moving your household items from one town, from Nairobi to other neighboring towns? Now, that is normally a very hectic process. That is why I want to introduce to you Topmark Movers Kenya. Topmark Movers is a certified company and they are doing amazing work. They are reliable, affordable, safe, and also very professional. So moving your stuff from one place to the other should not be a problem again, because those are your treasures. Contact them here. 0719 17 43 93. 0719 14 19 17 43 93. Topmark Movers, they are the home of quality, and that is why quality is everything to them. Let's get straight to it. And I've said I have a punchline. It will come at the tail end of this analysis, so make sure you watch to the end. You know, I am not an IT expert, but I posed this question while in our informal, in one of the WhatsApp groups, and someone commented there saying that no hacking can happen in a vacuum. The claims about hacking have always been there. Even during our election, you know, people are even trivializing the UDA because they could have also been beneficiaries of a hacking. Remember, the whole Supreme Court case about election was also about hacking. So is it another Jose Camargo? You know, people are even making fun that Jose Camargo was not paid well and is the person who is now maneuvering ways to bring the government down. And it will be a case of deal went wrong. You know, Kenyans will never fail another way of explaining it. By the way, that explanation was there that, you know, Jose Camargo is rising against UDA, and that's why Kenya is going through that. Now, back to the issue of the internal saboteurs in government. Are there people internally? Because someone said that it can't just happen. There must be an aid from within. There are people working in this infrastructure. There are people that are, you know, there is a whole lot of personnel behind these government websites and infrastructures. And there could be a case of internal team, and not even people who are based even in Sudan. There is no evidence, by the way. There is no evidence to explain that the fellows that hacked those websites are from Sudan. Someone is saying this could still be an internal game. You know, in Kenya, we are tech savvy. Just recently, there was a story about how someone hacked a bank account. But it's a very keen issue that needs, I think, the government needs to employ high-tech intelligence. We need to upscale intelligence, especially in this, because imagine if they could successfully raid our consolidated fund account. That's where income as a government worker. Imagine if they can raid it, then the next day we'll not be able to pay salaries and pay most of our bills. So it's something that cannot be, and you cannot underestimate the fact that there could be internal saboteurs. Number two, now, are foreign powers interfering with us? And then the issue about Sudan is just a scapegoat. You know, it's true. I've been following this back and forth between Sudan and Kenya. And Sudan is a landlocked country. Most of goods going there pass through Kenya. They use Mombasa Port. So if you look at more between them and us, who is depending on the other person, you will even realize that they depend on Kenya than we depend on them. Someone can challenge me here. Which are these kind of goods that we import? that Sudan imports to Kenya. You never know. And someone brought a very interesting argument here that could it be internal, external powers trying to create a conflict, a non-existing conflict between the two countries? Yes. Could it be a case of someone, another foreign power, trying to create a conflict between the two countries? Because the other Sudan country is a country that has been at war, of course. So if it could come out clearly that they are the ones interfering with us, then it's also another case that can be looked at. Or probably the foreign powers are falling out with our regime, with the regime back home here. And then the whole issue about Sudan is just a scapegoat so that they can hide an identity. Because try to think this way, if the anonymous Sudanese will not put a claim and Kenyans were left to second guess, I can tell you, we will be talking about Russia, we'll be talking about US, we'll be talking about, other countries, we'll be talking about Al-Shabaab in Sudan, in Somalia. So this will still be something that cannot be underestimated. The other case is, it's a case of assessing critical data in Ruto regime. Because if you look at the infrastructures that have actually been targeted or that have largely been mentioned, Visa is key. Look at Kenya Power. Look at Kenya Railways. eCitizen, by the way, there is a lot of transactions being done in eCitizen. A lot of transactions. This could still be on IDs, on good conduct, the driving license, and there are quite a number of fees, NHF, NSSF, they are all there, registration of companies, registration of business. So is it a case of someone trying to access some critical data? If it is to be hacked, there is no one that has been taken. I think that's what has not been explained. So what will be it? Do someone want to understand, to get critical information about us? And this would mean, does this pose a risk on our security? So that's another aspect. And with that, it opens another important question. Then who can that be? Railways, where SGR works, is a cooperation between, I used the SGR the other day. And ukiingia ndani ya SGR, you will see the two flags. You see Kenyan flag and the Chinese flag, showing the cooperation between, the partnership between the two countries. So does someone want to understand how much we have, how much we are collecting, and this will maybe be used for other purposes? Number 3, I also see a possibility of this being a drill went wrong, or someone doing a drill. And that drill is what went wrong. But lastly, penye wazee hapakosi maneno. There is I have a subscriber from Uganda who called me just this evening, some few minutes, and I had posed this question in some WhatsApp group somewhere about it. And he told me that it could, number 1, be the making of a narrative, or that William Ruto and UDA regime has realized that Kenyan people are disgruntled and they are trying to create a common enemy where Kenyans can converge to fight. I don't know what to think. Someone said that at one point we used to do that tactic where Uganda will create chaos on this side and all of a sudden there is a push that Uganda is fighting us. So the whole country like Kenya would converge behind a very narrow narrative that Uganda is fighting Kenya. So even like in this case, someone would want to create some, some temporary push, patriotism, by creating that narrative, because they know very well that now the country is divided on the political lines, and just having come from that mass action, and they're just finding out that things are not good. So what's happening here, it could still be an inside game to create some imaginary conflict between Kenya and maybe another country. And with that, you will wipe the emotions of a country as fighting a common enemy. What are your thoughts on that? By the way, I really want to hear your thoughts on that last part. Thank you, guys. I'm so grateful for your support, and let's meet in the next podcast.